So yeah, support from here. Wuxi Institute can now actually make decent progress in these formers. Sort of decent progress. Better progress. Cool. Improve teams, just do improve team stuff. Way down to the Dev went down to Georgia. Improve team went down to Spartan land. So looking for some energy credits to steal. Stay behind, they take attack. If he could just make a deal. I don't know. I said I try and be entertaining to you guys, but I know I'm kind of lame. Alright. These rovers. Forest is done. And is also kind of useless. Kinda. Except until that condenser farm is done. I can work the condenser. Then when the base grows, I can work the farm on the coast. Then a forest. Cool. Might put a mine on the coast. Putting the condenser more central located is marginally useful for if I want to someday farm solar. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. In fact, I am thinking maybe I should have done the condenser on the farm first, since now I have a choice between getting one nutrient. But having the, if I'd done the condenser, I would have got more nutrients faster. Basically, long and short of it. Just don't know. I was thinking. Growing moist. Moving fungus is always the first step, no matter what else. Boom. So, probe team. Support from there to declutter, and I'm not even sure. It might be probe team's return to wherever they have support from. Pretty sure the one that got... Oh, no, that was support from World Health. Never mind. There might be certain situations where that occurs, but might not. Either which way. Support from border agency. Although, there is one way I know it matters. If there were drone riots at the base, there'd be a -1 morale. I don't know why I'd have drone riots at border agency unless a Spartan probe team created them, but I guess since almost all of their bases are bigger, border agency is less likely to be subjected to them than almost anywhere else. Except maybe Hydrology Council. Where else that has probe teams anyhow? Yeah, minor thing. Bigger bases are definitely more likely to suffer drone riots, just if I lose track of stuff. That's worth remembering. Sort of worth remembering. Nope. Well, it doesn't show, but yeah, this is definitely a hardened. Former, you can see with the different outline. So the command center does benefit. Yeah, obviously thing seems to be a build a mine next to World Health Organization. Or a condenser. They're growing very slowly. And they're on the verge of eco damage. Condenser creates a little eco damage, but less than a mine actually. Creates about 3/4 the eco damage. At least until the pops contribute to more minerals in the long run. Either way. Boom. So we're thinking I could do a borehole here, then raise the terrain. No one would be eligible to build boreholes, but existing ones don't get destroyed. And that would create a base space next to the nutrients, which I could then raise here to create a land bridge here. But that has security implications, so maybe not. But the borehole could be useful. Eventually. Alright, I need to lie down for a sec. Just gonna pause the recording. I will see you folks in a little bit. Alright, my apologies. My energy lags. I had to lie down for a bit, and I do deal with a family member's toxic enough to think that I should be as upset about them getting an empty Amazon envelope as I want them to be about Swedish environmental activist Greta Thunberg being threatened to be murdered by Lindsey Graham. That Republican piece of shit in the Senate threatening to do a drone strike on the ship, the aid ship she's trying to get to Gaza. I mean, it's food and medical supplies for people who are dying innocent civilians. And he's texting, I hope you can swim, regardless of what you think about the war overall. The civilians in Gaza are not Hamas. They are not the people who are fighting. They're innocent bystanders. And what's more, the whole freaking thing is the fault of the occupier of Israel. They are in a country they had no business being in, that they entered the country illegally en masse after World War II, even after the British tried to stop illegal Jewish immigration to Israel. And this was specifically Zionist immigration, because Zionist does not equal Jewish. In fact, Albert Einstein, who was, by the way, a Marxist, condemned Israel for what it was doing very early on. He's Jewish, famously. Jewish Voices for Peace exists, etc., etc. But they illegally came to that country, then did an uprising slash, you could almost call it a coup, civil war, seized control of more than half the country, displaced like 750,000 people or something insane. And then ever since they've been oppressing these people. And now these civilians, who are not, again, not the ones fighting, should be killed, because maybe some of them are related to or know people who are fighting back against the state that's doing the occupation, which is engaging in brutal crimes against humanity. And again, they're not the ones doing any of the violence. Not to mention, the UN Charter has a specific exemption for resistance movements. Though that won't stop the U.S. government from trying to find a terrorist anyone it doesn't like, it fights back against it. But the hypocrisy is rife. Again, this is not arguing for Hamas, but innocent women, children getting food, getting sanitary pads. And these are European white, though it shouldn't matter that they're white. It's like Swedish and German and such, and French activists on a ship, sailing ship, trying to bring a small amount of food to people who are starving to death. And Lindsey Graham is threatening to kill them. That's threatening to carry out a drone strike on them. That is, or gloating over the Israelis doing that, is disgusting. And it's not all on the same level of the ordinary things we have going on in our own lives, like little annoyances. Let's see. It was Defense Command, Ocean Institute. Reform is done and democracy is attained. This base would be very, very tight on minerals. Okay, so the Ocean Institute. Scout Patrol's probably the one I want to risk more. Should have actually marked it as the designated defender in case the base was attacked, but boom. So boom, boom. Try and get that. Should probably also offload this artifact. Go this way actually so I can explore that tile. Alright. Probably have this due next turn as this moves. let's see, when, trying to remember exactly how this moved. I think it went there, and there, there, there. Yeah, as long as it's moving this way each turn. It's making steady progress there. That scout patrol is gonna not be able to arrive unless I want to foil wait in time. I don't know what's. Oh no, that's fine. Moist. Boom. Best to get out of the xenofungus. Possible. There we go. Scout patrols are scouting. Continue to scout around this island. There's probably some unipods on the other shore. End up there. Next turn, the foil with the artifact there. Artifact there, and can. Cool. Problem of all this is probably want to do a handoff type mechanism. I think I talked about that before. Suppose I can get away from this fungus though for at least a turn. As far as possible. From it. All right. Oceans do well. Eventually want a police unit to grow faster, but not for a little bit. I have here a maritime command. Oh, laser foil. All right. Yeah, I'll just get the scout patrols on the coast here. Get ready to load them up again soon. Boom. Because I probably want to get this foil over here to provide security for the transports. convince you to care as much about something like them getting an empty envelope from Amazon the mail as much as someone getting blown up by drones or threatening to be. That's completely amoral. Just shows that person's priorities are way off. But you don't choose the people you're related to, unfortunately. Boom. Just keep lookout for mine worms approaching the formers here, especially as they get more form returns invested in the borehole. This can be ready to disengage anything that wriggles out from this way. Any mine worms that do. Let's probably go here. Can strike it with the recon rover as a backup. To the scout patrols. An incredibly unlikely event. I attack twice, lose both times. Could happen. Incredibly unlikely, but you know, sometimes lightning does strike twice in the same place. Yeah, I can't go through there. On the way to that unipod. There's a fail move. Trying to get up back to the server valley. Keep thinking about this former. Probably don't want to raise this tile because that would landlock World Health Organization, which maybe someday, but I probably want to do some sea formers first, if nothing else. Yeah, I could actually raise around this mine. Most likely, though, it's going to be farm mine, borehole, farm mine. And after the last farm mine, I guess I could go here and raise the terrain. Or I could go here, focusing in this above sea level. This would also create a land bridge. But mineral resource, probably want the nutrients. So yeah, probably raise it from this tile. Just it's also very low elevation, so even a little sea level rise that submerges mine. Good place to raise the terrain. Anyhow. A road. Unfortunately, that means infantry could come out from Fort Superiority maybe and reach this probe team, but If not, yeah, I can still see around parade ground. Is it infiltration? Maybe it's partly by base. I can see the other ones, but I seem to only have full tile visibility around here, not here. Oh no, it's just darker. It's hard to see. It's in the monsoon background. Okay, yeah, no. Either which way, well, the road's new, which means there's some Spartan formers around somewhere. How about these to not go adjacent to the fungus? Possible? Especially that one. There's no way I move into rocky fungus tile. Unless I'm desperately trying to avoid Spartan patrols coming out. But yeah, without going adjacent to the fungus, except where necessary, I'm trying to get down here, explore the way to Cape Storm, and find where the Spartan bases are. So that's what's up with that. Can't escort the probe teams anymore though once they're in Spartan territory. So yeah, is what it is. I want to send this probe team down around this way. If I send them all the same route, they might get hit by patrols, and also there's terrain there I haven't explored. Yeah. The transport starts turn here. Could have actually gone the probe team further, but transport be here next turn. At that point, the probe team will move the same as if. It might have gotten bounced to transport that way. This is a sure thing. Oh, wait, it already has a move. Actually, this is perfect then. I mean, it still has a move, the transport. I can move west. This is getting so long, I'm not going to even be able to contact Yang in this second video. Alrighty then. Gotta hurry it up. Do want to get all these rovers here. So they can, Commando is veteran, disciplined. Getting them all to the river now. Hunt more mine warps. Yeah, that's the quickest way there, though. Go there, there. Third, and a third.
Indigenous life forms.
There's a mine worm. Speak of the devil. Alright, who should take it down? Disciplined. Full health. Obvious choice. If it loses a move, it's not on fungus. Achieved hardened status and 1. Nice, I'm doing very well attacking these mine worms. So, and getting a massive number of energy credits. In fact, oh, I did not send that former to get support from you and HQ. What is about with this former to get down to 1, so I guess that's...
Request confirmation.
That plus democracy, I guess it's... can't support more formers. Damaged rover. Earned rover. Other damaged rover. The fungus. On the way to repaired. This should no longer be the designated defender. This should. Fuck. Should probably get this back for repairs. There's no point taking needless risks. I should avoid even stacking with other rover. Cool. That's good. One way out. One way out. I don't know if you guys remember, if you watched Andor, there was this prison break episode. It's the best I can describe it. You got the prisoners chanting that. It's kind of cool scene.
Indigenous life form.
Chant one way out, and then they leave the prison via the only exit. But the guy who played a key leadership role in the prison break, he couldn't swim. And the prison was on like an island, which is actually symbolic of a certain theory of Marxist class struggle and liberation. I kid you not. And though the producer says he's not a Marxist, he literally based the main character off the life of Joseph Stalin, the early life of Joseph Stalin. And that prison scene very clearly is about a certain theory of the people who kind of lead the revolution or won't live to see the fruits of it. Although I suppose you could generalize that to any kind of social revolution movement. Very often,
Indigenous life form.
early leaders will not get to see the fruit of their labor. Or no attack disciplined. Achieved hardened status. Nice. It still has a move left. Go here. It's got enough health to not be destroyed by collateral damage. Is there anything else I need to have move through? Where this transport is? Oh, this probe team, probably. Possibly? Nah, I don't want to send more than one. Plus, it'd have to stand in the fungus alone then. Guess I'll find out if loaded units suffer cloud damage if the stack is attacked. Yeah, I know that I need to send military units to monoliths. Come on. Not dumb. I'm sure there's some fervent anti-communists out there would prefer to believe I were. Unit repaired. This one should go here, where they protected by this rover. Better than being, well, that one. Anyways, the other one doesn't move. Better than being completely unprotected. Silent monolith. Disciplined unit to protect the commandos so I don't lose the commando unit stupidly in a defensive battle against mineworms. Put this here. Should be able to move into one of the fungus tiles just fine. It won't be stacked up so deep that way. Alright. How many rovers here? Well, there will only be 3 in the end. Trying to avoid triple, quadruple stacking, whatever. And here, just the one. That's already moved. That's already moved. They've already moved. Guess if I'm going to potentially lose it to an attack, I probably want to at least have something to hold the tile so I have that path through the fungus still available. That's a little iffy. That's a lot of things stacked. If it finds my worm, I don't think there's anything else that can help kill it. Oh, wait. 2 moves. Hardened. This is only disciplined. Yeah, I'll take the risk.
Turn complete.
Cool. 802 energy credits. Still haven't lost a rover attacking the mine worms. Incredible luck. Especially if you look at the military command nexus. I mean, I haven't been the luckiest actually finding the worms, but I've lost 8 scout patrols. Recon rovers, I only lost 1. That one that got surrounded way over. Where was it? It was deep in I remember it was deep in a fungal bed and it couldn't escape. Or no, it was here. There was a pod. There were 3 mine worms around it. Yeah, I mean, statistically, I should have lost several rovers, but now. I should have found more mine worms, but it's going to be diminishing returns on having all this energy. I am tempted at this base. Maybe once I get the far mine. If I have this much energy in reserve, it's just sitting idle. Chance crash. So that I can actually pop in World Health Organization. Save me a lot of nutrients. I mean a lot of nutrients, and the base will just slowly continue to accumulate more. I could basically do this to boom, and then that to boom again. And end up at the end being nutrient neutral with a pop working this energy resource. Or run a deficit and work the borehole, which makes running these nutrients even more valuable. Which means that each nutrient frees up essentially gives me 2 minerals in the end. Maybe I want to do this. Let's see how the laboratory status is. Or, boom. That's better. As opposed to still gets it in a year. One nutrient or 2 econ points. 1 nutrient or 2 econ points a mineral. Probably 2 econ and a mineral. I normally, but again, each nutrient will probably eventually trade off for 2 minerals. Yeah, I want to work that. Although, maybe instead of a technician, so the lab point really goes to waste. So you get 1 less econ point, but 2 more minerals. Oh yeah, this is way better. Way better. And this one turns the former. That's what I want to do. It's definitely what I want to do. Cool. A little bit of micro. Reducing waste. But you guys don't start wasting your time. I'd like to contact Gaian just before I end this video. It gives, a kind of anchor point to the whole
Request confirmation.
Whole video, something I can name the video after having done. Nutrients first or minerals first? Probably minerals, because it gives me a flexibility to delay democracy by a turn if I really need to. Alright. That's gonna grow. That's gonna grow very soon. Nothing's gonna grow this turn, I don't think. It's gonna grow very soon. The thing with running democracy is we'll get more energy into labs and econ, but I have so many energy credits from hunting mindworms that the econ, it's becoming less and less cost effective to produce energy credits, and the labs don't have high cost effectiveness until I have more bases to, actually build the buildings and units that I unlock with tech. I don't have the industry to back it up. So, yeah. I have to figure out exactly what I want to do. The switch to democracy. Because I do lose a lot of minerals and support doing the switch earlier. Let's see. Oceans 2. It's doing it right now with... After I switched off. World Health is... I was just looking at that. Look, the Council is good. Great. They're actually growing. Board agency is completely stagnant. Could do one of those, but there's no reason. Civil rights is merely producing labs. Defense command is just trying to not starve for a turn. Oh.
Request confirmation.
Hurry I shall. Good thing I checked. Hurry the base. Forest agency. That's the only real question left. It's worth noting if this condenser gets overgrown with the forest, the space will starve. So I really need to aggressively time command. If when I switch democracy, it's still have 1 mineral. Formers. Can always switch later, but this is more for planning since it's no retooling penalty right now. Oh, Alluvial Council can hurry
confirmation
as well. Yeah, I got so many balls in there, it's easy to miss something now. Okay, just forced agency. What does it cost to hurry?
Confirmation.
48 for 17 minerals. So 10 would be 25, which means 23 for 7. It's more than 3 energy. Versus if I wait a couple turns, be a lot less. Give me a sec to plug the numbers. This is a little bit complicated because there's going to be a very long period with those energy credits just doing nothing. Oh yeah, that didn't actually take me long. I was looking at the nutrient resource, the new base to be working. There's also other great tiles for nutrient production. 7 nutrients, and versus growing a base to size 7, which is 42. 6 times 7. Whereas it's with democracy plants 18 to grow up size base from 2 to 3. So it's effectively like doubling the value of the nutrient resource. That's definitely worth spending these energy credits.
Confirmation.
Which does mean I'm going to be in a little bit of a minerals crunch. Was looking at not rushing democracy for not this turn, obviously. Not next turn. Turn after next was probably what I was going to swap. By which point the calling pod will be in place, but won't have yet settled. So I'll just have 0 minerals for a very short time, and I can get right on another colony pod, forest agency. There's always more colonies to found. We'll have to lose the 3-1 tile to make do with having enough mineral production, but oh well. to think of another base name. Got disability services. Forget disability services. That seems too bureaucratic. UN disability rights agency. UNDRA. Yeah, that's reflects more the fact that rights of disabled people are human rights like any other group of people, and we shouldn't neglect these people or just relegate them to bureaucratic services regimes that very often provide very little actual help. Names matter some, even from a role play perspective. I'm gonna also rename this, actually. Amnesty Agency just sounds a little too Amnesty Council. Just has more of a ring to it, and it is, you wouldn't just give people, you do at least need to spend a little time looking at giving people amnesty. Like people are disabled or innocent victims of diseases and industrial accidents and such. People, amnesty, presumably they've committed an actual crime, and at least you need to can debate whether a person is at least repentant for the bad things they've done, is sorry, unlikely to do it again. That's kind of the main concern, really. Next turn I'll have tech, and then I can contact Chairman Yang. So, Forest Agency and Movie Council will be the ones whose pops changed off to keep an eye on them. Another expansion of forest. Oh no, severe hail storms destroy all solar collectors near UN Civil Rights Agency.
Production complete.
Headquarters bells. Formers.
Production complete.
Formers here.
Production complete.
Formers here.
Production complete.
Probe team here. Now formers.
There are only two ways in which we can account for a necessary agreement of experience with the concepts of its objects. Either experience makes these concepts possible, or these concepts make experience possible. Immanuel Kant, Critique of Pure Reason, Data Links.
Yeah. Kant. I had a professor used to hate anything Nietzsche or Kant said, but they said some interesting things. There are only two ways in which we can count for a necessary agreement of experience with the concept of its objects. Either experience makes these concepts possible. This is a summary of the philosophy of materialism, or these concepts make experience possible. That's idealism. I think I described before how capitalism is based on idealism, the idea that concepts make experience possible, and socialism is based on materialism, the idea that experience, that physical things make concepts possible. That's why these ideologies are they can't see eye to eye, because they're based on fundamentally different ways of looking at the world. There are idealistic socialist traditions. I guess I should say Marxism, because the idealistic socialist traditions are like capitalism, based on the idea that concepts make experience possible. Anyways, all past research on memory, learning, the senses, and other aspects of the brain did not answer one basic question. What is the biological mechanism of self-awareness? Research into biogenetics and social psych finally resolves the last of the secrets of the human brain, providing an understanding of the fundamentals of consciousness. The Gaians got this in 2144, 69 years earlier. I'm not swapping the fundamentals right now. Okay, and what to tech? What to tech? I think I discussed industrial automation, because the planetary transit system. Robotics can help us build an empire. However, and HAP complexes are nice too. gene splicing will provide an immediate benefit, unlike industrial automation, which might give a little more commerce income. I just lost some solar collectors, so I could rebuild them as condenser units now, which make research hospitals, I mean, gene splicing less useful though, not more. But give me a moment. Yeah, that was only a moment. Even though gene splicing might be more immediately useful, I'm worried I'll lose the planetary transit system. I'm gonna have to start it early because I don't have a lot of great bases to build it at, and maybe actually have a bunch of bases all work on supply crawlers to concentrate production on one base. That's not an exploit. That's a game mechanic working as designed. I mean, they wouldn't have given supply cars the ability to do that. Unlike all other units that when you expand, they only provide half their minerals. Supply cars provide their full, and I think they automatically even get a pop-up asking if you wanted to expand them for working on a special project. You just get some people don't like it, even though it was a feature in Civ 2. It's just directly carried over from Civ 2, with trade caravans providing the same purpose.
Golden Age begun.
Golden Age now because no longer has a drone forest agency. Oh no, I have to work this set of tiles. I could work that, but no, I couldn't. It would reduce minerals by 2.
Production complete.
Here's a former unit.
Production complete.
Here's another former unit.
Production complete. Golden Age begun.
Probably actually want to do that because there's mine. Well, no, there's no way the mine worms take that tile. I did see Spartan units moving, which means they might be preparing to attack. Finally, they've left me wondering if they were in attack for quite a while. It might have something to do with the fact that I surpassed them in might rating recently, and they're getting nervous about that. Yeah, all solar collectors in the Civil Rights Agency, even the ones that were being worked by other bases, anything in the Big Fat Cross. 4 solar collectors gone because of one bad event. The Spartan has captured one of our probe teams inside its territory. Commissioner. Yeah, that would be the one there. The team has been returned safely to UN World Health Organization after being interrogated and warned. Yeah, okay, it does go back to the base that gets support from, so I should have swapped its support to border agency. You live, you learn. It'll be helpful and thinker to know I want to rebase probe teams to the closest base and never just leave them. Yeah. Oh well. Headquarters builds formers. Defense Command builds formers. That might be why they actually are moving their units, just to capture the probe team. Maybe they're on the alert for more now. Colony pod. Golden Age. Probe team. Former. No, colony pod. Cool. Nothing expected except the hailstorms and a forest pop. I mean, a forest growth as well, I suppose. But the hailstorms, that's bad. Bad. It will probably prompt me to build mines these 2 areas and maybe condensers. Maybe a condenser here and mines here and here. So to retool my bases. Less energy, more minerals because of inefficiency. And also because I'm getting closer to having complexes, so I'll be able to support larger populations soon. Alright, well. Never let it be said I don't take negative random events and swallow them. I might get annoyed if you get the meteor strike event and it destroys my capital, which can happen if it targets World Health Organization because it destroys everything in a radius, or it destroys one of my secret projects. So if I lose a secret project to a meteor strike, I might just be like, I am not dealing with that nonsense. Although most bases I'm fine. The fact I never like the secret projects you can only build once, even if they're destroyed by misfortune. I've always considered that stupid. Especially, I mean, it made a little more sense if what ancient wonders of the world. You might not be able to rebuild the pyramids, but Human Genome Project, yeah, you'd be able to rebuild that. Could have even added a new dynamic to the game, destroying secret projects to rebuild. Alright, well, I'm going to have to spread my probe teams out because the Spartans can see them clearly, and they will try and send them back. And I'm going to have to rebase them, so getting better at stuff. But last thing, and then I have to cut this video because it's so long, even if I cut in half. It's time to contact Chairman Yang. Commissioner Law, I presume. He's cooperative. He wasn't cooperative before. His mood has changed. I'd have to look at the rankings to see if it went up or down. But I told you it resets over time. Commissioner Law, I presume, at the beginning of each turn of their turns. Chairman Yang of the Hive Service. It's based on things like your might rating. I am told you have built yourself a magnificent empire here on this rocky planet. Be aware that I plan to found a society on the principles of security and control. Yeah, he's gonna be annoyed when I'm running democracy. It's this anti-ideology, and they get annoyed if you're not running their favorite ideology, even more annoyed as far as they can tell what their anti-ideology. So he will hate me eventually. And I'll brook no interference in this matter. You may be interested to know that I've been in touch with our former colleague, Deidre, who lately has been styling herself Lady of the Gaians. Deidre has become quite obsessed with her environmental initiatives, but we have had several fruitful conversations, and I believe she could provide you with information on Centauri empathy. If you like, I can provide you with her Commlink frequency in exchange for a mere 100 energy credits. No, she's going to contact me on her own. No, thank you. I see no need to speak with Deidre. Certainly not for that price. Commissioner Wall, I know I have been accused of preaching brutal nihilism, but I think you'll find a man of reason. Let's exchange knowledge on a quid pro quo basis. I will share my files on doctrine and loyalty. By the way, if I had done a tech trade last turn, the cost of techs would have gone up a little bit. It goes up for every tech you have. And I might not have been able to, I would have had to make greater sacrifices to get that tech that turn. I will share my files on doctrine and loyalty. Cool. I can build perimeter defenses. You must, in return, fully disclose your data on industrial economics. He's got gene splicing. Give me gene splicing instead, and you've got a deal. I may not have anything else he wants, so.
The genetic code does not and cannot specify the nature and position of every capillary in the body or every neuron in the brain. What it can do is describe the underlying fractal pattern which creates them. Academician Prokhor Zakharov, Nonlinear Genetics.
And that is correct, by the way. People think, who know nothing about biology, that genes code every capillary, every neuron, or they think genes don't control anything. No, genes do control the pattern of every capillary, every neuron. There's immense amounts of genetic control, but it does not specify the precise position. Instead, it specifies a pattern, which is, yes, a fractal pattern. This is precisely correct and remarkably intelligent for the designers of a game who presumably don't know a ton of biology. Of course, Brian Reynolds was a guy who studied philosophy undergrad, so he learned how to learn in a way not a lot of computer scientists go as deep into fields outside their own. Widespread adoption of the philosophy of ethical calculus removes opposition to genetic experimentation in plant and animal DNA, while advances in biogenetics provide techniques for the incipient field of gene splicing. Yeah, public opposition is a huge issue with gene splicing in our own world. People fear-mongering over GMOs and stuff. GMOs, not inherently bad. Immensely powerful thing, could be misused, though. The power, I'd argue we can't trust large corporations with that power. It's like trusting them with nuclear bombs. But it absolutely is not, like, genetically modified food is not inherently worse for you. It can be worse if you do certain things to it, because you can make anything bad if you genetically engineer it the right way, or the wrong way, rather. Anyways, biogenetics is the more understand biology itself. And it's hinted that there was some gene splicing gone awry on Earth where corporations abusing that power, and this technology was already known. You're still in the rediscovering things that Earth knew phase of the game. This technology allows researchers to insert new DNA coding into existing genetic material, so the entire traits from disease resistance, to a stable personality. No, that's not a monogenic trait. That would be inserting dozens and dozens of genes that interact in very difficult to understand ways. It's true that stable personality, neuroticism has a very strong genetic component, but low neuroticism being a more stable personality. If I remember correctly, I actually score quite low on neuroticism, which may surprise some people. High in openness, though, which people who are high in openness may appear more neurotic to people who don't know better. I'm referring to the Big Five personality test, not this Myers-Briggs shit, which has no scientific basis and is pseudoscience. The OCEAN personality index: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. Agreeableness doesn't mean you're like a nice person, really. It means how that has a wrong name. You gotta know with this test, they found things that are statistically valid, and then they try to come up with names for them. And sometimes there's bias in how they assign the names. What it really represents is willingness to cave to peer pressure, and how much you value like politeness for politeness' sake. So I score middle levels of agreeableness, which is actually below average. Most people are on the high end. I think that should surprise no one. Stable personality, but not the most agreeable person, in short. But open to new ideas. Anyways, this technology allows researchers to insert new DNA coding into existing genetic materials. Entire traits from disease resistance to a stable personality can be copied from one organism and transferred to any number of others. Yep. And now, nutrient restrictions lifted. How am I doing for time? Badly. Through cooperation, we can achieve mutual satisfaction of needs. He's already magnanimous of me. Will you transmit your files on flexibility, so you can build a navy in exchange for my information on loyalty? Think your humanitarian initiatives can be enhanced by proper use of such knowledge. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to go to war with them eventually, but first it's the Spartans, then probably the university if they're close enough, or the believers. Instead of trying to project power halfway across the planet, the believers are next island over. This will strengthen me and him. Unfortunately, that the Hive could become a front-runner challenger in this game. But with the control of the Monsoon Jungle, I'll be fine. He has synthetic fossil fuels, though? I'd rather have that than loyalty. Give me synthetic fossil fuels instead, and you've got a deal.
Fossil fuels in the last century reached their extreme prices because of their inherent utility. They pack a great deal of potential energy into an extremely efficient package. If we can but sidestep the 100 million year production process, we can corner this market once again. CEO Nwabudu K. Morgan, strategy session.
Great. So you're going to add all sorts of pollutants from combustion into the atmosphere again. Carbon monoxide nonsense. Great. I mean, it's not as efficient as in the 90s perspective. It's extremely super efficient. Not when you look at the whole system's efficiency. Not really. Your battery electric vehicles are more energetically efficient, and they get actually higher performance because they can instant torque with electric motors. There's some uses where it's difficult to replace fossil fuels. Mainly, and it shows it here, aircraft. You definitely need fossil fuels for aircraft. Unless you want to set up a huge network of microwave beam power things all over the surface of an area, and that you can't really project air power, then you could only defend your own airspace. It's also useful for spaceship launches, but military aviation and overseas flights where it's not overland, you absolutely need, for the mean times, fossil fuels. Of course, you can make it from algae on Earth. You don't need to ruin the planet by bringing it up from underground oil reserves. The extreme efficiency with which neural net fungus managed planet's vast ecosystem kept extensive deposits of organic material from forming over the epochs. Because of this lack, the fossil fuels known on Earth never developed, forcing early colonists to rely on less efficient alternative sources of energy. However, advances in advanced subatomic theory and gene splicing. Do I have advanced subatomic theory? I don't think I do. Finally allow scientists to short circuit the Eon's long process, providing them with the synthetic fossil fuels needed to build advanced vehicles and machinery. This allowed me to build missile infantry, which only costs 2 rows. They're extremely efficient for attacking bases. And missile artillery, once I steal polymorphic software from the Spartans, once they finish teching that. Because I remember before when they infiltrated the Spartans, they're working on the tech for heavy artillery. Commissioner Law, I know I've been accused of preaching brutal nihilism, man of reason. Alright, he wants planetary networks, so he can build probe teams. He wants loyalty. I really don't want him to get probe teams. They'll make it harder to trade text him. I could divulge information on secrets of the human brain. I not come here to discuss secrets of the human brain. Do not presume to clutter our networks with useless garbage. How is it useless? You can build trans units. I must caution you. The engineers have completed an advanced laser infantry 2-to-1 prototype. 3 mineral rows. I mean, I guess it's got flexibility if you want units to both attack and defend. Very early, or an extra row isn't that much more expensive because support costs actually dominate the long-term costs. It's got some utility. Later game, you want attack or defense only units. The first units are entering service now, rendering my forces practically invincible. I mean, unless it costs the same amount to get a little armor and a defensive, or little lasers on a defensive unit. It's the same number of rows you want. Obviously, the best stats you can get. Your faction is indeed a mighty one. Commissioner, I am rated number 1 at might. But my forces are yet strong. Sufficient, that's true. I should not allow you to plunder the wealth of this planet without cutting me in for a share. My price is your data on planetary networks. I'm not going to be bullied. Your faction is no longer significant, Chairman Yang. Commissioner Law, your ideas are admirable. If a bit misguided in your faction need not pose a threat to Hive policy. Shall we sign a treaty of friendship to formalize our symbiotic relationship? As you wish. A little bit of commerce, maybe. Less likely that he'll attack me when I'm not ready. The Hive seems a valuable friend. Excellent, Commissioner Law. And it says, show experiments at the top. This treaty demonstrates the planet is large enough both for your humanitarian initiatives and my social experiments. It also opens the door for trade and commerce between our peoples. Which is why I did. May the friendship between the peacekeepers and the Hive last forever. It most definitely won't. Right. He'll try and bully me for stuff every time I contact him. So if I have anything to do right now, he won't do a pact brotherhood most likely. Because I already have 2 pact mates. I don't think he has research data anymore. That's why he was. No, he has a loyalty if I want. Eventually I could send a probe team for it, but If I contact Deidre earlier, if she does empath go, it'll be a little easier to win. Need Commlink frequencies to the Gaians. My goodwill and friendship? Will that suffice? I'm not prepared to divulge Commlink information at this time. I have another proposal. I really want that Commlink frequency. He wants research data. It will increase the likelihood it'll text something I don't have. It's my valuable research data for Commlinks, perhaps? If you like, I can provide you with the Gaian Commlink frequency exchange for your files on planetary networks. Very well. And now, I need your vote at an upcoming council meeting. Wise my name is. To be elected planetary governor. I wish you to vote for me, not the Spartans. I'm going to support you, but it will cost you 244 energy credits. Oof. That's a steep price. However, can't afford it. How many votes does he have? 29? It's not nothing. The university definitely won't vote for me. Solicitous towards the believers and otherwise non-committal in other factions. Sorry, police state and no other social engineering choices. He'll run plan now with the planetary networks I gave him. Oof. That's a steep price. I'm pretty sure I can do it without paying that. Never mind. I can't afford that. Apologies, but I haven't all day. Yang out. Oh. Got some good deals, sort of. Still don't have the hives or the university's map. Next video, I can finally convene the Planetary Council and try and get elected governor. Votes 112. That's my votes. I'd have to check how many council votes everyone else has. See if how it lines up. I think I have enough votes. Yeah, I probably have enough votes just straight without needing to bribe anyone to vote for me. Unless everyone, including my pack mates, unite against me. So, cool. Probably do that. I'd like to contact the Gaians first. Probably do some tech trades so they'll like me more. Be less likely to... Maybe they'll even vote for me if they like me enough. Who knows? But that'll come next video. This has gone way too long. It's not to be cut into. First one will be about planning more bases, and this, contacting the hive. Viewers, I wish you all the best. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. May you always find a guiding star to lead you home. Adieu, and best luck.